Anastasia Chatzka. I'm a fashion designer, pattern maker, and sewing educator, and I'm so happy you're here sewing along with me today. Pins, so many pins. And how do we pin? And which pin do you use? Well, I'm gonna show you and tell you everything about pins that you've ever wanted to know. And I'm gonna show you the proper way to pin fabric with pins. On these pin wands in the studio, there are so many different types of pins on here. How do you know which ones to use and how to use them? Well, we're gonna go over them and I'm gonna show you. First, let's go over all these different types of pins and then I'll show you exactly how you should be using them. You'll notice that all these different pins are different lengths and they're different thicknesses. So how do you know which one to use when? Well, this very top pin with the white heart, it's plastic. So you wanna make sure you're not ironing with it. And it is super thick. So you wanna make sure you're using this with a really heavy denim or upholstery fabric. And this next pin, the one with the little yellow head, is plastic as well. And this one's classic for quilting. You'll also notice that it has a pretty thick base on it as well. So you want to make sure that you're not ironing with a quilting pin because it will melt as well. And that would be a disaster for your iron. And this adorable unicorn pin, he is plastic as well and he will melt. So you want to keep him away from the iron as well. But he's nice and sharp. So he is great for working with medium weight fabrics like cottons or twills. Next, we have a standard sewing pin with a pearl head. And this one has a medium size as well. So this one is great for just all-purpose projects, but you do not want to iron with it. And this next little pin is also great for quilting, but it's really short. So you want to be careful you're not trying to go through too many layers when you're pinning things together, and make sure you're using light to medium weight fabrics. Next are my two favorite pins. These are glass head pins. They are each different lengths and different widths. So the really short skinny one is going to be for delicate fabrics like silks and organzas. And the other one is just an all-purpose pin you can use in your everyday sewing for light to medium weight fabrics. The great thing about these glass head pins is that you have something nice to hold onto and you can iron right over them. And the last pin here is a steel pin. It does not have a big head on it. It has a really miniature little hammer flat head on it like a nail. And I don't love these pins because they are small, they are hard to hold onto, and I feel like they can get lost in a project real easy. But some people love them. Maybe you'll love them. So all those really big, heavy, thick, long pins, those are for all of your heavy fabrics that are really sturdy. And then all those medium pins, those are kind of for your all-purpose, everyday projects. You need to keep some things together. And then those really delicate pins are for all of your fine fabrics and your fine sewing. And those little steel pins, well, they're just pesky and they like to stick around and poke you. I don't like them. So now that you know about a handful of different types of pins, I'm gonna go over how to put them in the fabric to prep your project for sewing for the sewing machine. And our big tip of the day here is do not sew over your pins. You will ruin the needle on your machine, you will ruin your fabric, and possibly ruin the timing on your machine. So always make sure you're pulling out those pins before you get to the needle of your sewing machine. There's basically one way to pin properly for sewing a garment, so let's go over that right now. With a few different sizes of pins, why not? Let's try them all out. So when pinning two pieces of fabric together, you want to lay them on top of each other and make sure that the edges are nice and lined up. And then you want to take your pin, go into both layers, stick it all the way through, and then you want to come up on the top. You always want to make sure that the head of your pin is on the right-hand side, so that way it's real easy to pull out as you're sewing. You don't want to put it vertical because then you got your hand in here and you're trying to pull it out and it's really awkward. And who wants carpal tunnel? Nobody. So let's pin our next pin from right to left. You're going through all the layers and pushing it up. And when you're pinning on a hard surface, you can feel it go through that second layer and you can really push through and then just push back up. So you don't have to put it down, check it out, and then put it back up. You can just get a motion for it, down and up. And you'll notice that when I put the head of the pin in, I'm going about 1/4 inch away from the raw edge of the fabric. So just in and out, down and up. There's that last pin. See, telling you, these pins, no good. No bueno, this is just muslin. Push it out, and there we go. Pinning can feel really difficult at first because you've got all these layers of fabric that you're trying to line up and get a pin in and out of it. So just make sure you're using the right kind of pin for your project because it'll make it so much easier or so much harder if you're using the wrong type of pin. So just practice and it will become second nature and all your projects will come out pinned beautifully. And don't forget, do not sew over your pins with your sewing machine needle. Thanks so much for watching Sewing Anastasia today. I hope you enjoyed how to pin pins and use them and when you might use them because there are so many different types of pins. If you enjoyed this video today, please give it a thumbs up, give it some applause, and leave a comment down below. What are your favorite pins to pin with? I would love to know. And if you're not already a subscriber to Sewing Anastasia, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know when all the new videos come out. And if you're already a subscriber, thank you so much for watching today. And don't forget to add me on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and TikTok and all the social media websites so that way we can stay connected and creative together. And I would love to see your recent projects, so make sure you tag me in it so I can share it with everyone else. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.